In March, the government announced new guidelines to speed up the adoption process. One of the aims was to make it easier for white parents to adopt children of colour and address the fact that black children can wait up to twice as long to be adopted than white children. They said social workers were insisting that children be placed with parents of the same race, and that had to change.
You go online to the Be My Parent, but basically you go onto a search and the children come up and it tells you just quickly about them, brothers and sisters, single child, their age and things that they like. And there's normally a profile picture with them. His grandparents on his father's side are Trinidad, and his birth mother is English. I've got all his history, his grandparents. Would you like to know about your grandfather and your grandmother? Yeah? All the way back? Yeah?
Mel and Lee Hannam applied to become adopters in August after unsuccessful IVF treatment. The average wait time between children being placed for adoption and finding suitable adopters is 11 months, so they face a long wait and rigorous assessments.
Quite surprised at how long it's taken just to get this far, really.
Yeah, there seems to be
a lot of waiting.
A lot of waiting.
And does that feel reasonable? Does it feel like the process as it should be, or does it feel elongated?
It does feel elongated, to be honest, because you go into this, and especially after doing IVF, to be fair, because IVF can feel like a very quick process from start to finish. It's about 6 weeks, before you find out the results. So from going from like 6-week process to suddenly being, oh well, actually, we're not looking now to be approved maybe until April next year, and then matching could take, who knows, a year maybe, possibly.
But you don't have a feeling that they're trying to trip you up?
No, definitely not.
Definitely
But they are trying to understand who you are. And some of that actually is not so much to get you approved, but actually so that when you are approved that they can find the right family for you.
Comparatively few ethnic minority people decide to adopt. Shagun and Sei Olosanya, originally from Nigeria, adopted Joshua when he was 2. He's of Ugandan heritage.
Who's this?
Same.
Oh, that's your friend. So where are you?
Joshua has brought so much joy into our heart, into our lives. We can't imagine life without him now.
With Joshua, we've been very open with him, but anybody who sees us would not. I mean, I've had people come to my house years ago who said, oh, who does it look like, and all that kind of stuff. And he happens to look like members of a family already, which helps, and helps him to settle in as well. So
I think there are a lot of cultural issues, a lot of things that us black people don't talk about. People find it strange when we talk openly about the fact that Joshua is adopted. We brought him up knowing that he's adopted. It's almost like a taboo topic. People are also quite wary about the social services within the black community because they almost see them as the enemy on the other side. I remember when we were going through our adoption process, there were friends that the social services had to see to interview just to get references. And they initially had issues about social services coming into their home to do that, even though they were only just giving references.
most people want a baby. Only about 78 babies were adopted last year. So there's very few babies. And when you're looking for a baby, you're looking for a baby that is going to grow up kind of looking like you, right? So a lot of white people will go in there and look for a baby. I know there are a few that will go in and say, okay, we'll take any child or whatever, but most people go in like that. That's my experience after about 6-7 years of really working with the adoption program.
Placing a child is something that always needs careful thought, especially when parent and child are of different ethnicity. Marlene Ellis was placed with white parents as a baby and lived with them on long-term fostering arrangement until she was 18.
My foster family did the best they could do. That doesn't mean that it did not leave me with huge difficulties around a sense of myself growing up. There's this huge sense of isolation and loss, even though you can't define it. There are different times when you constantly have to explain why you, this black child, and people have different ideas about what it means to be black, but I don't have those kind of references. So it leaves this huge sense of you're not quite who you're supposed to be. So I've got memories of my mum making me food and singing and having this lovely voice. And I've also got memories of not being able to go to people's homes, friends' houses and stuff, because, you know, it's a very non-black area. I was the only black child in the town and the school, and they didn't want a black child coming into their family, their house, because they didn't know what that meant.
Social workers feel they have come under unwarranted attack. Michael Gove in particular was critical of what he saw as their insistence on finding the perfect match. He claimed an edict banned transracial adoptions. Misguided nonsense, said the Secretary of State. I was interested to know what social workers thought of that, so I dropped in on the North West Social Work Show in Manchester.
We want to, I think, ensure that the assessment processes are robust and thorough and not a superficial exercise, because we're talking about children who've already been let down by their first caretakers, their birth families, and that's why it's so important for social workers to feel that they've done the best job.
Children that are available for adoption, by and large, aren't sweet little newborn babies. They're older children, just as sweet, just as nice, just as lovely, but they're often children who've had very disturbed and very, not necessarily all of them, but mostly have had fairly disturbed backgrounds.
This is not a matter of being over politically correct, for finding the Carols of this world isn't a quick and easy process. What's needed is perhaps a better appreciation of the complexities, many more minority adopters, and maybe a little less politics. Because not everyone is going to be as lucky as Alfie.
We were looking for a child that we could help, that we could put something into, that we could give something to, and we'd read that Alfie was hearing impaired, and that wasn't a problem, as we sign anyway, and we just fell in love with him. We did fall in love with him.